Hey, what up everyone, this is MandoAllDay, back with another video, and in this video I'll be doing my cosmetic trial for Black Widow, and shortly after go over the build guide, which items to use and so forth. So without further ado, let's get right into cosmetic trial for Black Widow. This is a range build, so do keep that in mind. So with Black Widow, what you want to do is activate your A, S, and D powers, just to do damage to these enemies. Pick a target, click your F power, and then hold G all the way, max charge, and there you go. So with her, you have to constantly keep moving, because if you don't, she will get assassinated. Ironically, she's an assassin. Yeah, she'll easily get assassinated. She's a bit weak, so do keep that in mind. But she is doable. She's very playable in terms of endgame content if you have the right artifacts and so forth. Oops, go too soon. So again, it's really simple. A rotation, activate your A power, S power, and then D power, and then from there F, and then hold G all the way through, just like so. But you have to constantly keep moving, so keep that in mind. With Black Widow, you have to constantly keep moving, because if you don't, you will essentially lose. Alright, and then before you activate your signature, make sure all your powers not in cooldown. Signature, and then all your rotation, A, S, D, F, G, all the way, move, A again, just to do damage and kill all these enemies, just like so. A, S, F, G all the way, and then move. Again, you have to keep moving. Also too, you definitely will be using your medic quite often, because like I said, she is very weak, so keep that in mind.
Your tricks cannot surprise me.
Move, and then move again if you can. If not, you activate signature, A, S, D, F, hold G all the way, main spender, and fairly easy. And just do all your damage to Miss Madam Hydra. So she's fairly easy. She can be fun. In terms of doing a melee build for her, honestly, it's doable. But for what I usually do, in terms of cosmetic trial, without having to use any affinity points and using easily obtainable artifacts and so forth, the melee build is a little tough, to be honest with you. Move over here, get your team up to follow you, do the same rotation, F, and all the way down G. I've tried to do a hybrid build with Black Widow, but honestly it was not working out the way I wanted it, so yeah, I'm not doing a hybrid build, which is a range and melee, but it's okay. Range will do for now. A, S, D, F, and all the way G, boom, and just do your main spender. Now for team up, I would say use, you can use anyone. I would probably recommend using Agent Coulson for the the team ups, and then that way you can bring in the summoners.
Okay, Natasha. I won't break you. Breathe fire.
A, S, D. And then I'm going to use signature soon. And signature, A, S, D, F, all the way down G. Boom, just like so. Main spender. Move. The reason you want to move is that way your team up follows you, and then you can start attacking this right here and do your damage. Kill this team up quite easily and quite fast, because you definitely need to kill this guy really fast. With this particular build that I'm using right now, I am using 4 of her uniques, and 1 of them are cosmic. I believe so. I believe it's 4. If I'm not, it could be all 5, but I'm pretty sure it's 4 uniques and the rest are all cosmic. Signature, A, S, D, F, G, all the way down, boom, and just keep using main spender. So this is where it gets a little scary, because it's almost like at the borderline of not making it, but you will make it.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
Come on. Just like so. Easy peasy. Not really actually easy peasy. I'm sorry, I take that back.
It's never too late to join
It is easy peasy with using a fully decked out Black Widow, but since we're not using a fully decked out Black Widow, it can be a little difficult. But no worries, we can do this. A, S, D. Pick a target. Now we're here. It's really simple. Stay in the center, get all the enemies around you, and then activate signature, A, S, D, F, G all the way down, and just do A again. Again, the key thing is try to get all the enemies as close to them as close together as possible. That way, when you activate your ASD powers, they can take the full damage use. So you'll notice with Black Widow, she doesn't do that much high damage, but she does a lot of damage. Like for her damage per hit is not high, but she does a lot of DPS, which is a good thing, but also can be a bad thing. Depends how you look at it. A, S, D, F. And now I'm gonna wait till my signature. Wait a little bit, get all my powers on in cooldown, and then activate my powers, my signature. A, S, D, F, G all the way down. Easy. Pick one of these, simple. And just keep attacking that one. Don't worry, if your team up attacks something else, don't worry, it's even better. That way it helps you. And then go here, attack this one if you need it. But the key thing is keep attacking these Red Hydra mechs until you hit the 3-minute mark, or until you kill all the rest of these enemies. Come on. I know you're gonna die. And then signature A, S, D, and G all the way down. And then oops. No worries. So don't do what I did right now. I completely forgot about Red Skull. I was attacking just the mechs. But once you hit the 3-minute mark, make sure you attack Red Skull. Not like me, I made the mistake, but it's okay. I know when I activate my ultimate power, it will help a lot. There we go. Move away, make the team up follow you, and then you start doing damage to this particular person here. Signature A, S, D, F, hold G, there we go. Easy peasy. Then as soon as I defeat this enemy, the Sentinel, ultimate right away. Like so. Ultimate, bring in all your backup here. A, S, D, F, all the way down to G, and just do your damage like crazy. Keep doing damage, don't worry. They get close. Oh shoot, it's okay. So signature A, S, D, F, all the way down G, move. So Black Widow so far, do I like her? She's okay post biggest update. She's a little stronger than before, but honestly she's still, they have to polish her up a bit more. Her range build is decent, range powers are decent, but overall it's not, it's mediocre compared to everything else they did in terms of buffing certain characters. She's mediocre, nothing too great. It's not the worst, but it's whatever. To me, Black Widow is one of those characters where you just like you get it, you level up, you try it out for a little bit, then after you kind of forget about it. So he's gonna be dead soon, and just easy like that. Alright, that's what I use right there, and I'll show you that I used no infinity points were used at all, just to prove it to you. Alrighty, now on to the build guide.
Would you get over here?
Now on to the build guide. So the first thing we're going to look at is the artifacts. So the first artifact is Mayhem Demon Blood. I'm using this for the damage rating increase to range powers, the health increase. Also when I gain 10 stacks, I gain 2 fighting and 2 speed. Overall, really good stats for Black Widow, especially for the damage rating to range powers and also for the +2 fighting, because Black Widow's main attributes are fighting and intelligence. So overall, really good stats. The next one is Top Secret Hydra Training Manual. I'm using this for the Brutal Strike rating increase, the physical damage rating increase, and health increase, but also to become invisible and gain +9 fighting for 3 seconds when your health drops below 40%. Overall, really good stats, especially that stat where you gain +9 fighting and you become invisible for 3 seconds is very, very useful because, like I mentioned, Black Widow is a bit weak, so having that extra invisibility and that extra fighting is really, really good. Next is Inferno War Scroll Medallion. I'm using this for the +1 intelligence, the health increase, the damage rating to summon powers, but also 2, when you hit with an area power, harness the power of Ghost Rider, which grants you some range damage increase. And when you with a range power, harness the power of Doctor Strange, or increases your area damage. Overall, really good stats, but also 2, when you hit with a range and area power, you gain the power of Loki, which grants you +2 intelligence. Overall, really good stats. Plus also 2, I'm using this for the damage rating increase to summon powers because even though she doesn't have any summon powers, but when you use her ultimate power, that ultimate is here a summon. So again, that's really good, especially it benefits to summon the ultimate because it summons those his agents, or her agents, excuse me, I'm sorry. Next is Kevlar Plated Helmet. I'm using this for the critical hit rating to range attacks increase, deflect rating. Also 2, when you critically hit, gain +5 fighting for 5 seconds, which is ideal for Black Widow because she's always going to critical hit, especially when you use Coupe de Grace, however you want to call it, which it always critically hits, and you're always going to get that +5 fighting. And last but not least is Nick Fury was right t-shirt. I'm using this for the +2 intelligence, the critical hit rating to range attacks increase, critical damage rating increase, and +2 fighting. Overall, an artifact that's really ideal for Black Widow. It grants you the main attributes for Black Widow, and it gives you great stats for this particular build. Overall, really good artifact. Next is for defense is 800 defense, and I'm using the Blessing of Valkyrie's Legacy. I'm using this for the gain 2 health and 2 voltage when you hit when you hit an enemy, and also 2, increases your range and melee powers increase. I would highly recommend using the power of Loot Blessing because I am using an energy and physical. I'm using 1 energy power and the rest all physical power, which can help me a lot of my brutal and base damage increase. But this is what I use for right now. And for legendary, I'm using is Savage Axe. I'm using this for the physical damage rating increase, the critical hit rating increase, the brutal damage, and brutal strike rating increase. Overall, really good stats because the majority of my powers are all physical based, but there is 2 powers that are not, which is my A power and my H power, which grants you increase of energy. So the reason I'm mentioning this because you can either use Savage Axe or you can use McCrane Crystal depending on the powers you use, because McCrane Crystal is really good if you want to use a range energy and physical damage based build, or you want to do hybrid. It's really up to you, but I'm using Savage Axe because I feel like it's a good legendary, and also 2, majority of my powers are all physical damage based, so having those other stats is really good. For the ring, I'm using Industrial Seating Ring. I'm using this for the attack speed increase to range powers, critical hit rating to range attacks, critical damage rating increase, health increase, and when you're with a range power, gain 129 damage rating for 10 seconds. Now, as I mentioned in the Cosmic Trial portion, 4 of the slots are uniques and 1 is cosmic. So slots 1, 2, 4, and 5 are uniques, and then slot 3 is her cosmic. And for the costume, I'm using Black Widow Age of Ultron comics costume. And for Catalyst, I have it to where I increase my XP by 9%, plus 44 voltage or spirit, a defense rating increase, physical damage rating increase, energy damage rating increase, plus 2 fighting. Cosmic, after using a signature power, gain 1000 damage rating for 4 seconds. Crafted affixes, critical damage rating as always. Tech bonus, when using movement power, gain 30% move speed for 10 seconds. Visual ground, Iron Man arc reactor, as you can see right there. And for insignia, I'm using Insignia Valkyrie. I'm using this for the Aurora, which grants you and your allies 1100 bonus health, but also 2, this grants me critical damage rating and critical hit rating increase. And then for Flourish, I'm using Black Widow spray. Looks something like that. And for the pet, I have it to where I increase my dodge rating multiplier by 3%, gain 2 voltage when you hit with the basic power, which is my main spender. When you use an energy power, gain 4% deflect rating increase and 4% base damage to range attacks. And that's that. For team up, as I mentioned, Agent Coulson. Now for the powers I use, top to bottom, left to right. Silent Killer. Rolling Grenades. Coup de grace, however you want to call it. Snapshot. Covert Sniper. Conductive Grenades. Micro Drones. And Twilight Cloaking Device, Signature. And for Infinity Points, none were used. And for Hero Synergy, Beast for, not really for the melee, but for the +1 intelligence attribute. Cable for the critical hit rating multiplier increase. Colossus for the health increase and physical damage increase. Electra for the physical damage rating increase and damage to bosses increase. Hawkeye for the move speed and critical damage rating increase. Nightcrawler for the critical hit rating multiplier to physical powers increase. Rogue for the health on hit, 1 voltage on any hit. Squirrel Girl for the damage to bosses increase. War Machine for the +10 voltage and +1 fighting attribute increase. And Wolverine for the brutal strike and brutal damage rating increase. Now for the talents and traits, the first row is Swift and Silent. Silent Killer, which is my movement power, gains the following effects. And gaining 1 extra charge. Stealth duration is increased by 2 seconds. Attack speed and move speed is increased by 15 seconds, and 15%, excuse me, and duration is 5 seconds. So it's pretty straightforward. What this does is this grants me an additional charge and stealth duration increase for my movement power, which is Silent Killer. Second row is lethal weaponry, Stinging Strikes transform into Deadly Blades, which I'm not using. But Snapshot and Bullet Barrage apply Sharpnail Cut. Sharpnail Cut does physical damage, which is 1500, and then duration is 2 seconds. So I'm going to show what this does. It does damage over time to Snapshot or Bullet Barrage, which in my case is my main spender is Snapshot. So I'm using this mainly for that particular reason, to get that damage over time. Which is, as I mentioned here, it's Sharpnail Cut. The third row is Conductive Grenade. Anti-personal grenade transforms into Conductive Grenade, which is my S power. Conductive Grenade does not stun enemies directly, but makes the next electric power trigger a damage effect and stun the targets. So in short, why am I using this? It's really simple. What this does is, with this talent, it increases the damage to Conductive Grenades. So for instance, without this, my S power does 10,000 damage max, but with this talent, it does 21,000, excuse me. So increases the damage, but also gains an extra buff, which I don't really utilize the buff, but I'm mainly using this for the extra damage to my S power. So the fourth row is Drone Swarm. Micro Drones, which is my D power, affects occur a second time at no cost. It's, again, pretty straightforward. Without this talent, my D power does that, see? But with this talent here, when I activate my D power, which is Micro Drones, it automatically activates another time without costing anything. So here you go. 1 and 2. Alright. And last but not least is Never Know What Hit Them. Twilight Cloaking Device applies Concealed and Empowered. What this does is, and it's, again, it's pretty straightforward. It's a passive. You increase your damage by 20% to enemies not targeting you, invisibility. But when you activate the signature power, which is Twilight Cloaking Device, you gain a buff effect of Concealed. Invisibility duration is 5 seconds, but also you get Empowered, which grants you a base damage increase by 40%, and the duration is 5 seconds. So in short, what this talent does, it does 2 things. When you activate signature, you gain a buff of Concealed and Empowered, which in turn invisibility and base damage increase. But also 2, it gains you a passive, which is you gain 20% extra damage to enemies not targeting you. So it's really important to know that, because most of the time, especially with Black Widow, you're going to be invisible like this, so the enemies won't see you. So when they're not hitting you, you can do extra 20% damage. That's according to this talent here. Now for the rotation, as I mentioned in the Cosmic Trial, it's really simple. Obviously, Snapshot is my main spender. I'm using this for the critical damage increase, which is 50%, which is good. But its rotation simple. A, Whirling Grenades, Conductive Grenades, S, and then Micro Drones, D. Activate them whenever you can. Alright. And then F and G, pretty simple, do them right after F. And then hold all the way down G, covert snipe, covert sniper, excuse me, because when you do fully charged covert sniper, it does a 100% extra damage. And that's really my rotation. Simple. A, S, D, F, G down all the way, and then main spender. And then almost a signature. Before you activate signature, make sure your powers are not in cooldown. That way, when you activate your signature, you utilize the buff effects that grants you from the signature. So that way, when you activate signature, you have all your powers available, and you can activate all your powers and take advantage of that buff of concealed and empowered from this talent. And yeah, that concludes my build guide for Black Widow. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. If you find this video helpful for you guys to get into Black Widow, especially for a range build, leave it in the comment section below. Any requests for certain characters, leave it in the comment section below. If you want to keep it up to with my channel and support the channel, excuse me, please do subscribe to my channel. I know this helps the channel grow, but also means a lot to me as well. And yeah, that concludes my build guide for Black Widow. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and on to the next one. Bye bye.